Hello guys, welcome in, hope you're doing okay. I'm your host Ben, and this is Who's Clues. Of course, let's begin with the quick recap of last episode's story, Death on the Midnight Express. Set on a lavish train journey heading through Eastern Europe, our victim Sir Henry Aldridge was found with a dagger plunged into his chest. And our main suspects were Lady Margaret Aldridge, Sir Henry's estranged wife, David Hawthorne, the young ambitious journalist, Evelyn Markovich, the world-renowned opera singer, Anna Petrov, the mysterious fortune teller, and finally Pierre Leclerc, the steward of the train. Now we're back into it, let's conclude our story. Our inspector, drawing upon years of experience, notices that the broken pearl necklace and the shattered glass case happened too quietly to be noticed, because the noise was masked by the train's entrance into the tunnel. The timing was deliberate, and the killer used the darkness to commit the murder. The key clue comes from the blood-stained handkerchief. It's revealed that the initials EM don't stand for Evelyn Markovich, as everyone had assumed. The true meaning is discovered in one of the hidden documents. Sir Henry was using a code to refer to an old rival, Edmund Mitchell, whose company he was trying to destroy. Inspector Bellamy realises the handkerchief was a red herring. The killer is revealed to be Pierre Leclerc, the train steward. Pierre's real name is Edmund Mitchell Jr., as he had been living under an alias to get close to Sir Henry years ago. Sir Henry had ruined Pierre's family, forcing him to work as a humble steward. Pierre planned the murder down to the last detail, using his knowledge of the train's layout and the brief darkness of the tunnel to strike. He used the ceremonial dagger, knowing its significance would distract the investigation. Pierre confesses tearfully, claiming he wanted justice for his father and the life they lost because of Sir Henry's cruelty. As Pierre is taken into custody, the Midnight Express, once a symbol of luxury and escape, becomes a reminder of how the past can catch up with even the most powerful. As the storm begins to clear, the passengers of the Midnight Express are left with the bitter truth. Even the most beautiful journeys can hide shadows and secrets. Our Inspector Bellamy reflects on the case, realising that even in retirement, one can never truly escape the call of justice. The train continues its journey through the snow, but the memory of Sir Henry's death and the motives it unearthed will linger long after the tracks are clear. And that is the end of that tale. I've got to admit that was a difficult one, but how did you guys get on? Did any of you guys guess Pierre? Let me know. You can email me at whosclues.podcast@gmail.com. Now, with the journey complete on the Midnight Express, let's move on to our next story. This episode's mystery is titled The Clockmaker's Secret. It's set in a quaint yet eerie village of Hollowbrook, surrounded by misty forests and an air of old-world charm. At the heart of the village is the Clockmaker's Manor, a towering Gothic structure owned by the late Horace Grimshaw, a master clockmaker whose creations were said to be as precise as they were cursed. On the anniversary of Grimshaw's death, 6 individuals are invited to the manor to hear the reading of his will. But as the grandfather clock chimes midnight, a chilling murder transforms the night into a web of secrets and deceit. Let's introduce our characters. Well, firstly, there's the deceased clockmaker, Horace Grimshaw. He was renowned for his genius and feared for his eccentric behaviour. Rumours spread that his clocks held dark powers and that his death was no accident. Next is Lillian Grimshaw, Horace's young widow, a woman of beauty and cunning. Lillian married Horace late in his life, and many suspect she did so for his fortune. Next, we have Edgar Phelps, Horace's longtime apprentice and protégé. Edgar is deeply loyal to his late mentor and harbours resentment towards anyone who questions Horace's legacy. Next is Beatrice Hartwell, a wealthy art dealer who is Horace's closest friend. Beatrice has a sharp tongue and a keen eye for valuable items, including Horace's rare clocks. We next have Gregory Finch, a debt-ridden lawyer tasked with managing Horace's estate. Gregory is shrewd and opportunistic, always looking for a way to turn the situation to his advantage. And finally, we have Margaret Vance, aka Maggie. She's a writer known for her work on the occult and unsolved mysteries. She's here to uncover the truth about Horace's death and the rumoured curse on his clocks. Now let's progress with the events of the night. The invited guests arrive at the Clockmaker's manor, where they are greeted by Lillian Grimshaw. The house is cold and foreboding, filled with ticking clocks of every size and shape. As the storm outside grows its intensity, the will is read. Horace has left each guest a valuable heirloom, a unique clock from his collection, each of them said to embody a piece of his genius. However, before the clocks can be distributed, the manor is plunged into darkness as the power fails. Moments later, Edgar Phelps is found dead in the workshop, crushed beneath a massive pendulum clock. The others claim to have been in the main hall when it happened. Eventually, our detective is summoned, and when she arrives, she suspects foul play. The detective goes through the clues at the scene. The murder weapon is one of Horace's larger creations, designed with a spring mechanism capable of immense force. It was dislodged intentionally, but the mechanism had to be triggered from within the room. A mysterious blueprint is found in Edgar's coat pocket. The blueprint is for an unfinished clock design by Horace. A note scribbled in the corner reads, "The heart of time is betrayal." Lillian's silk gloves are discovered near the workshop entrance. She claims she dropped them earlier while inspecting the house, but cannot explain why she was near the room. The detective goes through Gregory's briefcase, containing unsigned documents that would have changed the terms of Horace's will, cutting Edgar out entirely. Gregory denies any involvement, saying the papers were unrelated. And one of the heirloom clocks, meant for Beatrice, has its inner workings removed. Beatrice claims she noticed it during the readings of the will, but didn't want to cause a scene. And finally, in a secret compartment in Horace's desk, Maggie discovers a letter written by Horace shortly before his death. It reads, "Beware the one who covets time, for they shall stop at nothing to possess it." Through the night, our detective learns that Edgar was not only Horace's apprentice, but also his illegitimate son. Edgar had recently discovered this and demanded his rightful inheritance, leading to tensions with both Lillian and Gregory. Lillian Grimshaw admits she knew about Edgar's lineage and had planned to contest the will. However, she insists she didn't kill him, claiming she was in the drawing room during the blackout. Maggie reveals Horace believed time could be manipulated through mechanical precision, and he experimented with dangerous mechanisms. One of his clocks, rumoured to control time, is missing from the collection. Beatrice is discovered to have an unrequited love for Horace. She confesses to tampering the heirloom clocks out of spite, but denies any involvement in Edgar's death. Gregory's financial troubles were worse than he let on. He confesses he was bribed by Lillian to alter the will, but claims he had backed out at the last minute. And this is where we will pause the story. So what do you guys think of this one? Who do you think murdered Edgar? We have Lillian Grimshaw, Horace's young widow. She knew about Edgar's lineage and was contesting the will. Next is Beatrice Hartwell, Horace's closest friend. She does admit to tampering with the heirloom, but is she being honest when denying her involvement in the death? Next is Gregory Finch, in serious financial troubles. However, is there a reason he backed out of Lillian's bribes to change the will? And finally, it's Maggie, the writer. She's kept quiet throughout, although she claims to have discovered that letter, written by Horace himself, shortly before his death. Well, let me know who you think it was, or maybe, do you think it was Horace? He went through time and killed Edgar. It could be that. I wouldn't bet on that though. Thank you all very much for listening. Goodbye.